2022, and we will begin. We have a quorum here tonight. And to begin with, we'll review our minutes from last month and look for a recommendation if there's any changes or a motion to approve them.
So moved.
And a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. And that carries. Next we have our bills. So Eric, if you'd like to speak to that.
Thank you, President Golbush. Yes, this evening on bills, we have a draw request from Spiral Foods on their working capital loan as well as their machinery loan that would complete their approved loan proceeds. I've got a bill for Electro Watchman for improvements at 2 and 3 Ramsey Street, both for the alarm installation and some electrical receptacle upgrades. We've got our legal bills and then the final bill from MPCA regarding the UBC Brownfield review.
Okay, any questions for Eric? If not, we're looking for a motion to approve the bills for last month.
So moved.
And second, and all in favor say aye. Aye, and that's approved. Next we have an adoption motion 2022-31 to authorize the second amendment for the purchase agreement for River City Investments on Tyler Street.
Thank you, Commissioner Golbush. Before HEDRA this evening is a proposed resolution that would authorize signature of the second amendment to purchase agreement for River City Investments. This is for the Tyler Street Landing apartment project being developed by Mr. Luke Seward. Previously, HEDRA adopted a purchase agreement. One of the stipulations of that purchase agreement was that they demolish the home there that's currently on that site owned by Mr. Seward prior to the end of the year. Staff recommended putting that in the previous purchase agreement based upon the Dakota County Redevelopment Incentive Grant that was in place to support the project. Staff's interpretation of that program was that they had to make at least one draw on that grant money in order to be eligible for an extension of that money through December 31st, 2023. And following up with the county, that's not the case. We've already submitted for an extension, and that was approved on November 11th. So that grant and $250,000 has already been approved and extended. They have now until December 31st, 2023 to receive those grant funds. And so with that, we're proposing this second amendment that would eliminate the requirement that that home be demolished on the site prior to the end of this year. So with that, I'll stand for questions.
Any questions for Eric? Did he give you an update on his time frame of what, Mr. Seward, did he give you an update on what he's looking to do, or?
Yep, so staff met with Mr. Seward about 2 weeks ago to go through the project. I met with him and another developer looking at it again, trying to get the numbers to work on that. They're going to be putting the project out to bid, and they hope for a spring start. The project largely is ready to go. They just need to hopefully find a little bit better some numbers to work.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the resolution 2022-31.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that carries. Next line of business is our 2023 facade improvement grant program.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this evening, staff is requesting adoption of the 2023 Facade Improvement Grant Program. Again, allocating $50,000 in funding from the HEDRA 2023 budget. Changes from last year being that we'd offer $1 of grant money for every $2 of private investment, up from a 1-to-1 match. We would also include, this came out of HEDRA's discussion last month, but that we would accept applications from anybody that was in an eligible area. But if that applicant had received a grant in the prior grant year, we wouldn't consider, or we, I should say, HEDRA would not consider that application until their July meeting to give those that hadn't received grant funds an opportunity to receive those first. Allowing 6 months for disbursement with up to a singular staff extension of up to 2 months. Anything additional would come to HEDRA. And then that full 50,000 would be made available to all properties within the Vermilion Street corridor in downtown right from the jump, as opposed to this last year where we had a bucket of 40,000 and a bucket of 10,000 for downtown and Vermilion Street respectively. Up until July, whatever was left was then made available to everybody. Staff heard discussion from HEDRA, the desire to wanting to open up that to more members of the public. And at this time, we're recommending that still keep it focused on Vermilion and downtown, but to do away with the two buckets of money to start and just make it wide open to those two areas. See how that goes this year. And then if we were looking at potentially a third year of facade improvement grant, then maybe we look at areas, maybe that's 55, industrial park, residential properties perhaps, but that for the second grant year, just still keep those dollars focused on Vermilion and downtown. And so that'll stand for questions.
Commissioner Horsch?
So, Eric, are we confident that if it comes to be July 1st or whatever, and we haven't spent the money, could we consider opening it up broader? I mean, are we confident that that 50 is going to go so that we could start implementing a little bit of the more broader community focus this year?
Yeah, Commissioner Horsch, I'm confident the money will be applied for. Certainly, HEDRA could at any time revisit the program like we have with our revolving loan program in the past. So if we're looking at, maybe that April timeframe, if for some reason the applications just aren't coming in and we want to make a shift still early enough in the year that projects could get done, during those nice summer months where people want to do projects, we could certainly do that pivot at that point. But staff's recommendation is at least to start with just that Vermilion Street and downtown area.
And then the last thing I had is, I know I raised the 2-for-1, just looking through the businesses that, and the purposes that they use the money for, and it seemed to me like the more, maybe the word is cosmetic kind of improvements, it seemed to me maybe we'll lose some of that 2-for-1, but I'm assuming you looked at that too, and you think we're still going to be pretty safe with, if I'm a business owner, instead of $5, I have to pay $10, something like that.
Commissioner Orsi, I'm confident in that. At the end of the day, this is grant money, and we found that if they're going to do a project, any grant money is better than no grant money, and that this kind of helps push them a little bit further into doing that project. But there again, if we get into April and they're not coming in, and that feedback may be, hey, that 2-to-1 just isn't a good enough deal for me to really jump at this, that is something we could look to switch again.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
Are we able to reach out to businesses along that corridor that haven't taken advantage of this and maybe say, next year we're going to open it up to everyone, so if you're going to do it, maybe do it now?
Commissioner Anderson, we would love that.
Okay.
Yeah, if you know business or property owners, and frankly business owners too, they can always, kind of, if they don't own their building, they lease, they can always kind of, knock on their landlord's door and say, hey, this is out there, we'd love you to fix X, Y, and Z. The important thing being that it still be eligible activities. This isn't just money to do a project because you feel like it. We're actively trying to eliminate blight or, known issues for buildings.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Thank you. Chair, how did we do it last time? Did we send letters to businesses, or will we do the same method of getting this out to let people know about it? Or what's the plan to educate people about the opportunity?
Yep. Commissioner Vaughn, last year we did email blasts, we did city social media. We didn't go so far as to sending letters to every property along the two areas. Certainly something we could look at again if we're not getting that traction, as opposed to investing in a full area-wide mailer right off the start might be a little aggressive. We do pop into those businesses with decent regularity, so it's certainly something we can mention too as we do those business visits.
Downtown Business Association, I assume, is on our email list, so that would be a good source.
I just didn't know.
Yeah,
if
and we let the chamber know, and then they blast it out to their memberships as well.
Good. Any other questions? If not, we're looking to approve our resolution to adopt our revolving loan, I'm down looking on the facade grant program, so. Commissioner Vaughn, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And opposed, that carries, so, thank you. And next we just have our reports and information, so we're looking at an update on the revolving loan program.
Thank you, President Goldbush. This year, HEDRA approved 3 loans. 2 of those went to Spiral Foods. Each of those loans was in a $25,000 amount for a full $50,000. With your bills that were approved this evening, they will have essentially applied for and been approved to draw on that full $50,000. The loan agreement stated that the loan started on May 1st of this year. That first year is no payments, no interest, so that loan will kick in for repayment on May 1st, 2023. That's at a fixed rate of 3.5%. The working capital loan is over 3 years. The machinery and equipment loan is over 10 years. So they'll have a monthly payment of just shy of $1,000 starting in May that HEDRA will start to recuperate some of those funds. The third loan that was dispersed was to RH Holdings that actually owns the building where Spiral Foods is located. That was in the amount of $20,000, and similar to Spiral Foods, tonight you approved the final withdrawal on that loan. That one will begin repayment July 1st of this year with a payment of $363.83. And that one's over a period of 5 years. And in January, staff will have a kind of an entire loan portfolio review and show, okay, here's the number of loans out. Here's, do we have any delinquent? Currently, we do not. What was paid back in the previous year, so we can get that all out to loan holders for their taxes, all that fun stuff.
Okay, so next. Commissioner Vaughn.
Quick question, bouncing back to the facade program. If someone was eligible and granted a facade program, would they be eligible to take a loan also?
Yes.
So there's not excluding them from one or the other. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so now we're up to development updates.
City staff received applications from 2 electric rental scooter companies, that being Bird Scooters that operated last year and then Spin as well. City Council will be reviewing those applications in January. Staff also received an application for the best property annexation. Land Equity submitted those concept plans. Staff has reviewed those internally this month. In January, they'll be going to a neighborhood meeting for discussion. That development, as it's currently being proposed, would include a mixture of residential uses, single, family homes, twin homes, an apartment building, some senior living. So they're really kind of pushing that life cycle housing type of product within that. Some more to come on that potential development.
Eric, how many acres was that?
Totally, it's about 75 acres, give or take 78. That does include part of the Sand Coulee land, so there's roughly 50 acres that's actually developable.
Okay.
The current proposal is just over 450 total units, but that's including some apartments, some senior housing, twin homes, and single family as well.
Great.
Do we also pull in people from the township to the neighborhood meeting, or is it mostly the people in more like the Tuttle neighborhood that get notified? Do you know where that notification area would be?
So we drop the pin basically on the property that the land use application is submitted for, and
Yep.
then draw it that way, and then each of those properties would receive notification.
So do they have to be in the city of Hastings, I guess is my question, or could they be in the township?
My understanding is that both township and Hastings residents would receive those
Okay,
notifications.
thank you.
Couple other, is this one developer or
It's a singular development.
singular developer? And has it told us what it's looking at for a price point for like a single family? I mean, what are we talking about here?
We haven't gotten into that detail
Okay,
just yet.
okay.
Right now, it's mostly just about the concept and looking at it from a comprehensive plan standpoint, a zoning standpoint, and then ultimately what it would take from a utility standpoint.
Great, thank you.
And the final additional updates from a development standpoint, Vermilion Acres, 75-unit senior housing facility on County Road 47 continues. Lake Isabel Flats, if you've taken a drive over there, you've seen the wall starting to come out of the ground. They've done a lot of concrete work in the last 2 weeks, give or take. So you can really see that building start to take some shape. Additionally, the Enclave Apartments by Colburn's and Terry's Hardware, they've been heating the ground to keep that available for development, so they're really pushing through that through the winter as well. So it's great to see both those apartment projects continue on even with the winter months having set in. Does HEDRA have any additional questions on current development projects?
Commissioner Vaughn?
It's my last chance to ask this. It's the product that, the land that is by Walgreens, the developer that we sold some land, I believe. I just want to verify, is the land sold to the developer that's between Walgreens and the Dairy Queen and the brown house that's there? Where is that at today? Originally, it was supposed to be a Caribou something or another, and now I see a sign that says looking for partners mentality. I just didn't know if our agreement when we sold the land, was it based on you need to develop it, or was it sold? And they get to control that from here on out.
Commissioner Vaughn, yeah, the city doesn't have ownership rights anymore to that property. That was sold to Ebert Construction. That being said, I don't know if the purchase agreement had some sort of reverter clause in it. I'd have to look into that and let you know. Unfortunately, this is December, and I won't have that
You can let
for the
that
next
know.
meeting.
I'll
But
watch, all right.
yeah, perfectly. Yeah, we'll check into that for you.
For the scooter application, who does that, what board or body of government does that go to and get approved at?
Commissioner Anderson, that goes to the city council.
Thanks.
Okay, anything else? Any other questions tonight? If not, we just have some recognition to do tonight, so did you want me to take care of that, or do you want me to read through that? Recognition of outgoing members today, so we're just very pleased for Scott Sinclair's work, Mark Vaughn and Lori Brock's work on our HEDRA Commission, and we're so thankful that you served in such a wonderful job. And just want to recognize Scott Sinclair. He's not here tonight, but he was first appointed in 2016 as a citizen member and is completing 6.5 years on the commission, serving as the president, vice president, and treasurer. And Mark Vaughn was first appointed in 2017 and is completing 6 years as a commissioner in addition to serving on city council. And Lori Brox was first appointed in 2021 and is completing 2 years as a on the commission in addition to serving in city council. So thank you all for your service to the city and the community, and I think we are moving in the right direction. So.
Yeah, I would just like to say on a personal note, when I came on, I chose this committee because I knew nothing about it. So it had been an area I just never dabbled in. And so, I mean, Lori and Mark, your expertise and your smart, intelligent questions were just so helpful for me to understand, you know, even different layers of an issue. So that really benefited. I'm still having education, but it really helped my education.
Yeah, I just want to read some more about things that have been accomplished too. So during this time, we established the facade grant program, purchased Rivertown Liquor and Country Nights for future development, ensuring the completion of the Confluence redevelopment, selling the former UBC property and new apartment developments downtown, the sale of the industrial park properties for future job growth, and we just it's been a lot that we've been accomplishing, so I'm very appreciative of both of you for all your hard work, so thank you. And with that, I think we're done for the...
I would just echo those sentiments from a staff level. We certainly appreciate all the efforts of the entire HEDRA board, but certainly this evening want to say a special thanks to Commissioners Vaughn, Brox, and Sinclair this evening, who isn't here. He's at his son's choir concert, so totally understand that. But again, thank you for all your work. It's been a pleasure working with each and every one of you, and we hope you're not shy to come back.
With that, we need a motion to adjourn. So, and a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. And that carries.